the idea for the CSL league is that all the placements and the kills, they all carry over week after week. So by, like, for example, for Intrinsic and Swell, they got, I believe it was 1 kill and they got the victory. So that gives them a total of 11 points. That gets to add into the rest of their finishes during the season. But unfortunately, there is no big scoreboard to tell me where they stand right now. But all right, everyone's starting to drop on down. It looks like we're going somewhat towards the center here again for Syrian Beauty. It's kind of what they did last time, a little bit off to the east side. And it looks like Soul Intrinsic looking to do the same thing, just floating over Frenzy Farm. And slowly but surely going further and further away from center. So we did see the Storm kind of bite them a little bit in that first game, but wasn't anything that they were able to, or they couldn't pull back from, of course. Yeah, so they're going right back to where they were last time. Dirty Dogs coming up. And it looks like it's relatively quiet. Don't see any other teams at the moment, so they're going to be free to loot everything. And Swell, in this case, gets at least some gray weapons, just in case something does happen right off the start, but nobody else nearby. I did not know you could break a buoy. That is new to me. Now on the side of Syrian Beauty, they're finding some decent stuff off the start. I'm seeing a lot of purple here. Granted, one of them's a pistol, but still. Some decent loot luck here for Syrian Beauty, as they too landed a little bit down south, but a pretty quiet start. Yeah, Beauty basically has that entire town to himself down there. Alright, Swell has a green sniper and a blue shotgun alongside his assault rifle, so slowly but surely starting to load up his arsenal. And then actually for Swell and Intrinsic, looking at this very first storm zone, they're already safe. It's in a spot that does cooperate with them. So by them being able to stay here, they can essentially make a temporary fort here at Dirty Dogs. Not have to move at all, and they'll be completely fine. Syrian Beauty, however, are going to have to hustle once the storm gets moving. They still have some time, though. Still a minute 40 before anything really gets underway. Now, granted, we're losing a couple people pretty early, actually, in this game with starting at 50, and we're already down under 40, 39 now. There's some sort of massive engagement happening in a different portion of the map. So pretty crazy if so many people landed so close to each other. But if there's chaos elsewhere, it means it's probably quiet near us if there's no engagement on screen and whatnot. Materials for days for these guys, and I hear another chest. There we go. Just continuing to loot, finding some medical supplies. We do have a big potion here for Swell, but looking for some small ones before popping that blue so it can be completely full. I hear another one. There it is. Oh, there we go. Intrinsic actually spotting some potions here for Swell, so they are going to be able to top each other off. Swell will probably be at 100, Intrinsic pretty close, but not quite there. Storm moving in. There is actually a airdrop care package of sorts just about to pop down here, right on top of Swell and Intrinsic. And I think they should be able to actually get this uncontested. I don't think anyone else is anywhere nearby at all. Meanwhile, inside of Syrian Beauty are slowly but surely trying to make their way through this, and they decide to go through the lake, which is of course going to be a good chance for them to go get some fish. Looks like Siri is already loaded up with one slot of fish. As we saw in that last game, fish are absolutely critical for the end game section of each Fortnite round. They just heal so much compared to, or they heal so much, but yet it's so fast. I know I was kind of questioning. I was like, oh, it's the end game. Intrinsic has 3 med kits. Why isn't he popping these? But it just takes too long to pop one. So that's why these fish are just so dang good. They're so good to the point that Siri's actually just going to drop a weapon to make room for a second slot of fish. But back in Dirty Docks, we have Swollen Intrinsic still just holding the fort, completely loaded, 100-100, ready for anything for the most part. A lot of green weapons here for Swell, but still not a problem as long as you got the aim, which of course these guys do. Syrian Beauty crossing the river, just about to make it into that safe zone. And it does look like someone got rebooted, so we're back up to 5th or 40 players left in the match, and there we go. A last second boat save. Right as the storm's about to come on out. Apparently the boat can shoot rockets. That's awesome. There we go, hitch a ride and get right into the safe zone. And then I always laugh every time I see the boat on land, but because of which they are going to be able to get right into safe zone temporarily. We'll see in 10 seconds where this storm does shift off to. Okay, not bad for either of the Saints Gaming teams as they opted to go a little bit below Dirty Docks. They had barely above Lazy Lake, so neither of our teams have to move like at all, essentially. Just a touch. Of course, still a very early game. The likelihood of running into somebody else out there is probably slim. And compared to the last game, also much less of a chance for our own teams to find each other and have to fire upon each other, as they're essentially at opposite ends of the field right now. Swell just a resource collecting fiend at the moment. Almost over 900 iron or steel. He's going to have some strong buildings later on in this match. We do have a danger ping actually over it towards that yellow house here, just ahead of Swell. Possibility. Oh, there is actually somebody building in that, so someone is there. And of course we do have this sniper rifle here for Swell. He's going to be able to scout out. And sure enough, he does get the sights on 2 players here in that house. If he could possibly get a shot, but the guy's going to build right before the shot lands. Travel time for that bullet to actually find its target was too long. All right, and Swell's going to opt to just start building a tower pretty early into this one. But I mean, you have over 900 resources. I guess go for it, especially if this sniper rifle, and if you can somehow get above them, shoot down below onto them like this, would be absolutely clutch. Just don't take out your partner. But I don't know. There's no friendly fire in this, right? Would be funny. Okay, some shots fired actually for Syrian Beauty on the left-hand side. Okay, that rocket's gonna come in clutch, try and take down that building and see if they can put them in position for Siri to open fire on the ground. He's actually gonna opt to run to the safety of that hill. Just cut off the angle. As the action dies down here, back at our tower here with Swollen Intrinsic, there's a few, maybe a building or two here actually. Players starting to set up an area, and we're jamming out. Spontaneous emote. Best emote. Okay, shots fired, and it's actually going towards Siri and Beauty, building their way, trying to keep themselves safe. I don't think either of them's taken anything more than a little bit of shield damage. Oh, and that shot, that's actually Swell taking the shot at Siri. I don't think he realized it was him, but that was close. Okay, does spot somebody under the bridge. Swell looking for his opportunity. Oh, and there's some people running out in the open that almost caught him by the ankle. Very close shot there from Swell. Oh, somebody's coming from the river as well. Swell finds his target, makes the edit, takes the shot, but it's a little bit too fast. Just constantly putting the pressure on these guys, forcing them to blow some materials, at least at the very minimal. And if somebody peeks their head, edit and gone. Care package down to the southeast of the storm zone. Could be a juicy target here for some players, and actually Siri and Beauty are probably the closest between the two teams to try and contest it. And now the storm, 50 seconds away from getting a little bit smaller here. Swell and Intrinsic do not have to move at this point. Siri and Beauty will have to temporarily move up just a little bit, not too far though, so they're still not in bad shape. With 38 players left in the game, Swell and Intrinsic are actually going to leave their initial building and go move out, which is kind of scary considering there's a lot of buildings in this area. And try and hide under this. Makes their presence known, but at least they're not going to get picked off out in the open randomly. Nobody's opting to pressure them at this point either, so all good so far. Storm is just about to get moving though, so now Siri and Beauty are going to have to move, and sure enough, Siri does find one and gets the opening shots off on somebody. But he's going to go underneath the building. And that guy has materials for days, so Siri's not going to be able to get the shot onto that. But he is going to have to move. That storm is right on his tail. He's deciding to go against continuing that battle and try to get back into the storm zone. Meanwhile, now that Swell and Intrinsic have found themselves a new tower to play from, and they've got themselves pretty centered here in the current storm safe zone, they're going to be the ones being able to put the pressure onto everybody. And somehow, Siri and Beauty, uncontested, went all the way and got the supply package. There wasn't even a purple sniper in there, but they're going to opt to pass that at least for now. Especially since there's people right on their tail. Action getting started a little bit earlier in this game, number 2. Between the skirmish that happened off screen where like 5 people dropped within the first 5 minutes, to this little skirmish that we have right here. Siri, Beauty, Swell, and Intrinsic, all in the middle of it. And Swell may not exactly be getting the damage per se right now, but he's got so much scouting information that in probably compensates for the damage. And this storm position actually benefits Swell and Intrinsic as well, as they don't have to move again. And there is a care package about to drop essentially right in front of the window that Swell's currently looking at. So he's got himself in a pretty decent spot, but yet they're going to opt to keep moving. Going to opt to just try and center themselves even more so than where they already were. Nobody taking the shots off, so Swell's going to be able to keep himself safe. Intrinsic right behind him. Syrian Beauty slowly but surely climbing their way back into the safe zone. They've been chasing this thing essentially the entire game. And they're getting peppered, actually. Syria going to take some shield damage, but still has a little bit remaining. Quickly pop small potion, get back into this. 40-100 currently. Wow, Beauty's still sitting at a full 100-100. And on the side of Swell and Intrinsic, only Intrinsic taking a tiny little bit of shield damage at this point. So the fact that neither of these guys have lost any health is looking so far so good towards the end game. But this still a bit of a ways away. We still have 33 players in this game, and the storm is still tolerable at this point. It's small, but it's not that small yet. Okay, Swell and Intrinsic might have to jump on these guys as they're building kind of alongside them. He's going to just pepper the building, put some pressure onto the players below. Intrinsic actually fell outside of the building, so Swell covering fire essentially for Intrinsic to get back in there. And Intrinsic didn't take any damage in the process, so nicely done, given the situation. Syrian Beauty going to catch the guy building the stairs, going to knock him down. Rocket coming right their way, and it's going to knock him down a floor or two, but nobody taking any damage. People running across the field. That little hut there is not hanging on a whole heck of a lot. If they can get the right angle to take that thing down, they would definitely drop it. 5 seconds before the storm shifts again. And it is perfection right now for Swell and Intrinsic as they're just opening fire on this guy. One more shot. Got the crit and it almost got him. He is going to go down, but unfortunately it did not go down to one of the Saints players in this case. And by crit, I mean headshot. I'm not a super scrub, I promise. Syrian Beauty finally get the shot off on this guy on the left-hand side, but he does finally reinforce his building, so it won't be taken down just randomly. And this is where the action's really starting to pick up, as we're down to 31 players, and the storm is about to come crushing in 10 seconds. Syrian Beauty taking the high ground on these guys down below, just making it so they can't move, but actually Syrian taking a huge chunk of damage. Going to be forced to pop some shields, and it did get into his main health pool as well. And he doesn't have a med kit to do anything about it. Much more high-paced game here for Swell and Intrinsic, constantly just being in the middle of this battle. Granted, they're not the ones exactly being shot at, though. They've just got to be on their toes. It's not going to be an easy, not an easy, but relying on hiding so much this time by. Yeah, players are essentially all around them here, so just constantly scouting the area, trying to see if anybody's going to try and pressure them, but so far they have not. We'll have another storm shift within 15 seconds. So we're down to 28 now, a few more players fallen, and we're about to get a little bit snuggly here. That's a good little shot there from Swell, taking 62. And again, they don't have to move again as this storm just gets smaller and smaller. Syrian Beauty, I swear, the name of the game for them this time's just been constantly chasing that sweet spot, that safe zone. They're going to have to move again, and now, as soon as you move, somebody's going to be likely right there to spot you. They're going to try and go for it, though, slowly but surely, building their way over into the safe zone while also keeping their high ground advantage. He does find somebody, gets a lot of shield damage down on someone on the low ground. somewhere in the process, Intrinsic took a little bit of heat, but nothing too crazy. It's looking for somebody, nobody home. Another player goes down. Storm is currently moving in, so 30 seconds on that before the sweet spot gets even smaller. And there we go. Intrinsic getting the drop on 3 of them. That's a huge set of kills here for him. That's 3 points by itself. But he's constantly getting peppered here. This is actually a little bit scary, but he is going to finally use the stairs from Swell to actually get back onto the high ground, get out of the line of fire, and use those harpoons to get some items back at the safety of their spot. So perfect. And it's really hard to tell at this point, but I think they're still good where they are as the storm closes in more and more. What is our fish count, though, right now? We only see the 2 currently on the Swell. We have 6 right now for Siri and Beauty, but they are so deep in this battle that it's extremely scary for them. If they can somehow get to the end game Storm stall out, Siri's going to be in fantastic shape, but can you get there without taking too much heat? As you can see, it's just essentially the tiniest of pillars left of Storm, so you don't have much room to wiggle around, so to speak. Yeah, most engagements are in the Storm itself, and Siri's getting peppered. He's got so many fish, though. He's going to live with barely 1 HP. And they do take one down, but he needs health, and he needs it quickly. He's got shields at least, but he can't get touched by the Storm at all. The Storm does not care about your shield. And sure enough, there we go. He's going to have to... I think he was given some fish. Yeah, he's got 3 bars of fish right now. 9 total at this point. 15 players left. And okay, somebody right on top of Swell, and Swell finds the shot there. Gonna block him off, take him down. That's a kill in the books. So compared to last game for Swell and Intrinsic, they're on the board for kills alone, regardless of where they finish in this game. 10 players left. Swell. Oh, another one down, actually. The spray and pray working out perfectly for Swell. If he can manage to find himself an execution, and sure enough, Intrinsic's going to be the one to find it. And they do find themselves a fish. So there we go. I was just talking about how Swell didn't have many fish. We got fish now. Swell and Intrinsic holding this mid ground. Wow. Siri and Beauty just playing from above, and there we go. Siri finding a kill on the 1 player down there, so perfect. Nice point on the board for them. Down to 6. Okay, we're just gonna stack fish onto 1 guy. The worst case scenario right now for Swell and Intrinsic actually be if somebody challenged them. Because otherwise, how are you going to out-heal this? Both sides, actually, they did the exact same thing. So we're just stacking fish, staying safe. Intrinsic gonna drop down. He's totally fine with this. This is actually insane. I think it's gonna be a 1-2 finish for sure for Saints Gaming. Just which team is gonna get it in terms of healing? Let's see here. This is kind of funny, but we still have, I think it's actually in Swell and Intrinsic's favor. They very well could pick themselves up 2 victories in 1 week. And with Siri and Beauty right behind them, Saints Gaming, St. Clair College esports in general, getting themselves the 1 and 2 position here in this final game. Actually, that would be wise if they want to compete with each other. It is you should probably challenge. And there it goes. Swell and Intrinsic going to get themselves their 2nd win and their 2nd win of the week. with Syrian Beauty right behind them at second. Saints Gaming 1 and 2 in this game. Absolutely fantastic performance from these two teams. Beautifully, beautifully done. Just listening to these guys in the background, the fact that they just got so many fish and then they just threw them all onto Swell at the end there was just super, super clutch. That is going to get them the second win. And they got a bunch of kills on top of that. I think at least 4 kills on that one for these guys. 6 and 4. Okay, so if I recall correctly, then so the victory is 10, then 6 kills, so 16 points here for Swell and Intrinsic, and then the 4 kills on Syrian Beauty. So they've got, let's say, I think it's 7 points for second to fifth, plus the 5. So there we go. So solid day here for Saints Gaming Fortnite, and cannot be more proud of these guys as they've definitely been working hard, and it's nice to see them a nice boost of confidence, so to speak, as there's nothing more motivating than not just getting your first win of the season, but getting 2 back-to-back. But with that, that is the end of our coverage here for CSL Fortnite. There's going to be some more. I think there's one more week. It'll be next Sunday at 5 p.m. unless otherwise noted. Of course, stay tuned to the Saints Gaming CA social medias, whether it's your Twitter, Facebook, Discord, anything like that. Just to double check on the schedule, as some things do change here and there. And then that's not the end of our games here for today. Give us another hour to 8 o'clock. We're going to have TESPA Overwatch happening. But to close out for today, big special thanks to Ryan Baker for handling the stream director position for this stream. Fantastic job keeping all the angles on the action here today. And then my name is Dan, Danners Banner. If you want to follow any of my esports antics on Twitter, that's Danners SG. And I shall see you guys in an hour or two for TESPA Overwatch. See you later.